Hey everybody, this is Anthony, Willie Moe. Time for our next top 10 video. You like that rhyming, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty good. Mr. Dr. Seuss over here.
I'm a poet and I didn't know it. We're off to a good start tonight. Anyway, we're coming at you with our next top 10 video, as I just said. And this week it's going to be our top 10 Silver Age horror covers.
Now, if you don't know about Silver Age horror, there's not a lot of them out there.
Right. So these are books basically from really kind of the late 50s to the late 60s. So, and there really wasn't a whole lot in the late 50s because the Comic Code put the clamp down on everything. So we'll be right back with our top 10 videos, top Silver Age comic horror covers, right after this.
Whoa.
Okay guys, we're back here getting ready to start our top 10 video for this week. Willie Moe, have you had a good week at school?
Pretty good week. It's average.
Did you do any work?
Yes.
Okay.
Average week.
I don't know if I buy that or not, but we'll go with it.
Hey, I gotta do work at school. I can't do nothing else.
I don't know. School seems a lot easier these days for you guys. You got computers. They don't even teach you how to do cursive writing anymore.
Dude, you can't even can't even get on no website that doesn't teach you something.
Yeah.
Like right now, because they have this website, and it won't let you get on any website that doesn't teach anything.
I had a guy that we had a class with called Georgia History. And when you walked in and sat down, he started talking, and you had to write down everything he said for an hour. An hour. Could you imagine doing that? No. My hand was like, by the end of the class, I was hurting so bad. That's life. I had it tough.
Let's get started.
You got it easy. Whose week is it to go first this week? All right. So I'm starting us off, and the first book today, my number 5. Shut up. My number 5 is The Unexpected number 110. A DC comic, came out in October of 1968. Cover art by the great Neil Adams. And I love this book, Will, because it kind of depicts a guy. He's looking at a candle, and it's like one side of his face is melting and the other side is not, and he can't figure out what's going on there. And again, we talked about hardcovers in the 60s. There's just not a lot to choose from out there. So if you can find anything, that looks halfway decent like horror, I just kind of went with it. But this is a good cover right here. Neil Adams, phenomenal artist. I could look at his stuff all day. I mean, the guy's just great. But that's my number 5.
All right. Well, my number 5 is, surprisingly, The Unexpected number 105. Cover artist was Bob Brown, and this comic came out in 1968, which was late 60s, and publisher was DC. I like this cover because it's got a guy shooting a gun in the top corner of it. It's basically called The Day I Saw Myself Die, which, honestly, it's kind of cool because it reminds me of Final Destination.
It's kind of like a Twilight Zone episode on built into a comic right there, right?
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of Final Destination when that one character could see what's going to happen to the other people and he tries to stop it and stuff. Right. And it's pretty cool.
Right.
All right, what's your number 4?
All right, well, my number 4 is Witching Hour, number 1 issue. Awesome Nick Cardy cover. DC is the publisher. February 1969. This was a new book that DC put out, and it started with a bang with this cover right here. It always had the tagline, "It's 12 o'clock. It's the witching hour" at the top. Or it just said, "It's 12 o'clock" at the top, the witching hour. So I always thought that was kind of a cool logo. The witch was always on the cover somewhere. They always made her look real gruesome and stuff, and this is just one of my favorite. Nick Cardy, probably my second favorite horror artist. He had some really awesome horror covers for DC in the late 60s, early 70s.
All right. Well, my number 4 is The Spectre number 1. And this came out in 1967. And cover artist was Murphy Anderson. And publisher was DC. But I like that. I like The Spectre. He's not really talked about in DC a lot anymore. And I feel like they should make a movie about him.
Yeah.
Have they made a movie about him, right?
Don't think so, no. Spectre's a good character, and he goes all the way back to the golden age and the golden era of DC. I think he debuted in More Fun Comics. I'm not sure what the issue was, but his first appearance is very, very expensive. And I just recently purchased some Brave and the Bold Batman and Spectres. I think one is a Neil Adams cover.
I actually looked at it, and it's only $200.
Okay.
$200-something at a high grade.
This book that you're showing.
Yes, this book.
Yeah.
But it might not be the first appearance of Spectre. It just might be the Spectre
like I said, the
one.
first appearance is in the Golden Age. It's like More Fun Comics, I think.
But I like this cover because he's like shooting up with like a tornado shooting him up, and you got all these people fighting him, which I don't really know the characters of Spectre, but it's a pretty cool book, and I like the cover.
I think the two best horror / superhero characters are Spectre and Deadman. I think those two are just kind of hand in hand. They're both DC characters too. They're pretty cool characters. I like them. But anyway, we'll go on further here. My number 3 is a Gold Key book, and I'll tell you before we talk about this book. Gold Key. When I was a kid, and this was before I was a kid when this book came out, but when I was a kid, and this was the early 70s, mid 70s, you found Whitman and Gold Key books in 3-packs in places like Super D and Lay's and places like that. They were everywhere. They had whole racks of Gold Key comic books, and at that time, people didn't buy them a lot that read superhero comics just because most of them were obscure titles like Magnus Robot Hunter or some sort of like horror stories or Ripley's Believe It or Not or something. And that's what this book is. It's Ripley's Believe It or Not, number 11. Came out in August of 1968. Cover art, a great painted cover of a skeleton skull head by George Wilson. As I've grown older, those Gold Key books, when you look back on them, man, they're phenomenal. They're all, 90% of them are painted covers, and they're really done really, really well. And the stories in them are not real bad either. I have a complete digital collection of the Twilight Zone Gold Key books that I read all the time. They're just really, really good. Lost in Space, I've got those too. I'm a big fan of the Gold Key books as I've gotten older, and this one is a neat cover. And another thing I was hearing about also in a video that I was watching from a different comic channel about Silver Age comics is a lot of skull covers were not produced in the 60s because the Comic Code Authority kind of frowned on having a skull cover. They just didn't like
it. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true, but I did see that on a video today that somebody was talking about that. But
all right. Well, my number 3 is Phantom Stranger Volume 2, number 2. And this cover was drawn by Bill Drought, came out in 1969, and the publisher was DC again. And what I like about this cover, it's got a raven statue. I think it's like a totem. It's going down on 2 of them, 2 characters. Of course, the Phantom Stranger and another character, which I actually have something interesting that I saw as a comic when I was looking this up. Phantom Stranger actually collabed with Batman on a comic, which I would have included on here, but again, it's not a Silver Age comic.
I just recently bought that book, as a matter of fact.
Really?
We have that in our collection, so I'll show it to you after the video. But it's a Neil Adams cover as well. It's really cool. So, Phantom Stranger is a very underrated book, and most Phantom Stranger books in the early 70s had a second story of Frankenstein in them. So it was kind of like, and there was one book, I think we talked about this book, or I showed it maybe on one of our Comic Haul videos. They're actually in the same story together, Phantom Stranger and Frankenstein. So, but Phantom Stranger, highly underrated character. He's really pretty cool.
Need to make movies about him and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number 2 is from A.W.O Comics, and it's Ghost Stories. It did not have a number on it. A.W.O did not number some of their books. This one came out in April of 1968, and this one again. Another great skull head cover done by Frank Springer. And one thing, the first Dale book that I ever owned, I bought it at a trade day when I was a kid, was a Lone Ranger Clayton Moore cover. I think it was the first Clayton Moore cover. It was worth quite a bit of money. I found it at a trade day. And one thing about Dale that I didn't even know up until then, because I didn't own any Dale books, is they gave you a lot of comic book for your money. Most Dale books were around 52 to 60 pages of and had 4 or 5 stories in each comic. A Lone Ranger comic may have 3 or 4 stories in it, and I'm sure this Ghost Stories book probably had several stories in it. I didn't research it on Key Collector. I probably should have had, but it's just a really cool cover. And this may be a book that I actually search out and buy just because I like the cover that much on it.
All right. Well, my number 2 is House of Mystery number 181. And this, of course, cover artist is the great Neil Adams for this book. And this came out in 1969. It was published by DC as well. A lot of my books are DC, of course. I like this cover because it's got these kids standing right next to like an Egyptian totem or an Egyptian casket. You know what they call those. And it looks like a pharaoh's inside.
Yeah. And
House of Mystery is a great comic series, and I feel like people should read it a whole lot. Had a bunch of Silver Age comics made, and it's really a good thing to you choose from if you're doing a Silver Age category.
Well, I mean, what's not to say that we haven't said about Neil Adams? I mean, the guy was phenomenal. His cover art was just kind of...
The cover art was great. The shading was amazing. Well, everything.
His cover art was revolutionary when they started coming out. It looked more like the time period for that era. You got away from the campy looking comic characters from the late 50s. Nothing wrong with those characters. I still love a good Golden Age Batman book, and if I see one, that's able to be afforded, I'll try to pick it up. But I love the transition into like the late 60s and early 70s with the revolutionary Neil Adams and Nick Cardy type covers, and even throw Joe Kubert in there that looked more realistic. And that's just on the DC side. On Marvel, you had people like Jack Kirby that kind of moved into better art, and Mike Plug that did the Werewolf by Night covers and the Frankenstein covers. All of those artists, just very good artists, but Neil Adams kind of paved the way for a lot of these guys. He did some really good work. And speaking of Neil Adams, my number 1 issue for this week is Unexpected again, number 113. Came out in July of 1969. Awesome Neil Adams cover again. DC kind of swept the whole list here for me and you both. Neil Adams did this cover. It's a skull cover because it's the guys in a boat and they're going through the tunnel of love, but it's slashed out and it's the tunnel of fear. And these people are going into a boat that looks like it's got teeth. And the opening of the tunnel looks like a skull head. So when they're sitting in the middle of it, it looks like the skull eyes and the skull teeth. I mean, it's just that right there is an imaginative cover. One of my favorite covers of all time. This is a book I'm definitely going to pick up. Seriously.
All right. Well, that leads me to my number 1, and it's Tales from the Crypt, Volume 1. And I forgot the number for this.
I think it's 110.
110?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
or 10. It was a one shot, I believe.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
The cover artist was Kurt Burgos, and the publisher was Erie Publications, and came out in 1968. And the cover intrigued me a little bit because it had like demons on it and stuff. A girl standing over maybe her husband or friend's dead body and stuff. Actually intrigued me a lot because it has some stuff I feel like the Comic Authority did not get rid of.
Well, the comic, if you looked at that cover closely, it probably was not approved by the Comic Code Authority. There were several covers that I saw that I didn't go with that were not approved by the Comic Code Authority. They were pretty violent, kind of highlighted cannibalism. It had a monster on there. And Erie, the publisher that you're talking about, was known for putting out some pretty horrific type covers and stuff. They had a magazine later on that had a lot of monsters and stuff on it. So I don't know for sure, but I bet if we go back and look, and we'll put the cover up on the screen as we always do, I'm pretty sure that book may not have been approved by the comic.
Yeah, it probably wasn't.
There were several issues that were put out in the 60s, like the famous Spider-Man drug issue that Marvel went ahead and released that did not have the Comic Code Authority stamp on it. That bring pretty good. That book's not uber expensive, but it does. It is coveted amongst a lot of collectors. You know, that Spider-Man book. So, well, all right, brother. That's gonna be it for this week. We kind of ripped through these pretty quick, but again, we appreciate you hanging with us. We'll be back next top 10. We're probably gonna do Bronze Age covers, and we'll have a lot of better choice to choose from, but I think we did pretty good for what the limited amount that we had to choose from this week. The 60s was just not, it was more known for sci-fi covers instead of horror covers, and then kind of horror took precedence back in the 70s again, but in my opinion, DC horror books are way better than Marvel. I love some of the Marvel covers on some of the books, but most of your Marvel horror books in the 70s and even in the 60s were reprints from their Atlas publications from the 50s. So, all right, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you watching. If you like our content, hit that like button, pound that notification button, and subscribe. And
make sure
there's
you
also
vote for
a
us
new
for the CBC Awards.
Yeah, well, I think the CBC Award voting is over with.
Is it over with now?
I think it ended.
I thought it ended
weekend.
in November.
No, I think it ended last weekend, if I'm not correct. But if you did vote for us, we appreciate that. And also, there's a new hype button that you can mash on here. And if you want to hype us up. I think it helps us get views and stuff. I haven't really read a whole lot into it, but it's something new that YouTube is doing, the hype button. We need to get hyped up. Are you hyped?
I'm hyped.
I'm hyped. Are you hyped?
I'm not hyped for how far I got to go tomorrow.
You know why I'm hyped? Because I kicked his butt in a game of Batman basketball.
I'm not giving you the milkshake.
He still hasn't recovered from that, have you?
Honestly, I'm just hitting threes all the time. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going to have to learn that inside game.
Meet me up here. Meet me up here.
You got to learn that inside game. Because when I find that 3-ball, you ain't going to have nothing to use against me. You see what I'm saying?
Actually, I can just shoot the 3. I mean, you'd only have to hit mid shots to actually beat me.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to find that 3-ball. You know, I'm rusty right now. I'll find that 3-ball eventually. We may have to do a rematch this weekend.
All right.
If anybody's interested in a rematch, comment below.
All
right, guys. We appreciate you watching. We'll see y'all. Everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll see y'all this weekend.
Hold up. I told you last top 10. This is the new thing I'm doing.
Okay.
All right. Daily video game for the video for this video. Batman Arkham City. There you go.
Batman Arkham City. I have played that game years ago. It was always pretty good then. So at least that is comic book related.
It is comic book related. I'm going to focus more on comic book related ones. All right,
guys. Again, appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Everybody have a good rest of the week, and see you this weekend. And stay safe.
All right.
As always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Bye.
See y'all. Hey, you know what that means right there?
What?
That's a timeout. See y'all.